All right, how to stop being a failure. So, first things first, right? Recognize that as humans, we actually don't know that much. And a lot of it's actually due to ignorance. Ignorance, meaning that the information's out there, but we tend to ignore it. Now, with that being said, right, the only way to really be a failure is to be ignorant. And why do I say that? I say that because in life, right, we're always trying to find truth. You feel me? Now I'm gonna make a video about how to always find the truth, but we're always trying to find truth. And as humans, we're not always in tune with natural law. And when that happens, things go wrong. Now, when things go wrong, we say, oh my God, we failed. But that's not actually true. There's no such thing as failure, only feedback. In a test, in school, if you fail a test, it's because you didn't learn the lesson. So instead, you just learn the lesson instead of calling yourself a failure. Because to be a failure, you would have to have something go wrong and then ignore the lesson. You have to be ignorant as to why you failed because you didn't actually fail. This just didn't go your way. It's like a mathematical equation. When you add 1 plus 1, you get 2. When you do this certain action, you get this response. You feel me? But it's not you failing. It's just you learning. But when you say I'm a failure, you identify with the experience of not achieving something. And then two things happen. One, you don't allow yourself to learn because you just say that you freaking failed instead of getting feedback. And then two, because you call yourself a failure, you keep on failing. You act like a failure now. You know, you're going to think, feel, and act like a failure. Then on top of that, you feel me? Because you always keep on failing, it's like when you mess up, right? You won't even learn from all your mess ups because you're going to call yourself a failure. So you're going to only see it as failing and not taking feedback and learning. So technically, calling yourself a failure is being a cop-out, low key. To say I'm a failure is to be a cop-out because we all make mistakes and we don't have things go our way. But not all of us say, oh my God, we're failures. Some people learn from their mistakes and stop making mistakes. Because you can actually do that. You're not a failure, bro. You're just identifying with failed experiences. But they're not even failed experiences, they're just literally feedback. You're supposed to be learning on this earth. One of the ways to get to truth is by experiencing what's not true, you know? So you have to experience all these quote unquote failures in order to really understand what's really real, what's really true inside your life and what actually works. So like I said, you're not a failure. You're just literally learning, bro. In school, if you kept on failing, just learn the lesson so you can stop failing, you know? Like that's really it. Just start learning and taking feedback instead of seeing everything as failing and calling yourself a failure. Because you're not a failure. You're a human being. You're really, honestly, God, the source, awareness, because awareness is God in the source. You know, awareness creates, sustains, and observes reality. That's what God is, creator, sustainer, and observer. But with all that being said, right, that's what you really are. Now, even if you don't identify with it, you can at least still say, well, I do have this character that is Susan. And, you know, as Susan, you know, Susan wants to be this kind of person and she thinks this and all this type of stuff. And at the end of the day, Susan's not a freaking failure. Susan is a human being who's learning and is trying to obtain a certain realization of the truth in life. And once you discover the universal truth in life, you can always start acting accordingly to that and stop quote unquote failing. Right now, you're just learning though. We're all students who are just learning. You're not a failure, my God. I promise.